Hello, everybody. This is Wendy on episode 62 of eBay Scavengers, a podcast for learning to turn trash to cash. Today, I had the pleasure of dialing up my oldest friend in the whole world, actually. So I'm really happy to introduce you to Jodi, who is a mom in LA. So I'll let the rest of the podcast speak for itself. So I thought it would be fun to start because for the people listening, they don't know that you and I are really old friends. Yeah. So I always say fourth grade. Is that what you say?
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah. And then also we have a particular context. So Long Island, like super duper consumer culture, like shopping and brand oriented.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, my experience just on that was like, I was really tortured by that in high school. Like I felt like I couldn't keep up, you know? And it was like Benetton. I remember like the million brands and moments that passed. So what was your experience of that? Just out of curiosity.
I don't really remember it being in my consciousness then that was a negative. It was just that's the way it was, and there were people that had those things and people that didn't have those things. I guess I remember like my mom always wanting to give me those things. Like it was very important that she'd give them to me, that she sacrifice and let me have it, you know. That was like a big reward or a treat to go to like Woodbury and go into those stores, and she would let me know that this was a big sacrifice, but that she had saved her money and that this is the name brand or thing that she wanted to buy me.
How interesting. So my mom was totally different. She was like, we're going to go to these like bargain basement places and you're going to get as much as possible for like as little as possible. Yeah. How funny.
Yeah, I guess mine was different. It was like, here are your 3 pair of pants that have a designer label in them and you know,
value them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
I've sacrificed.
Right. Wow. Well, one thing I think we both learned, though, from that is like, at least I feel like I got a particular eye from being raised that way. Like, I know what quality goods are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that?
Yeah, because I mean, maybe from just the opposite perspective, but, you know, we would look at both. I mean, even yesterday, right, I needed a new pair of boots, and I didn't want to spend the money. I went to Payless because online they looked like really cool boots. But when I got to the store, they're like made cheaply. It's not real leather, you know, and I couldn't buy them, you know. So
right.
I ended up yesterday buying my designer pair of boots, which I'm just so in love with.
Yeah.
I was telling you I was having a bootgasm yesterday because it's like they were just so beautiful and the handiwork so beautiful and the materials are just so amazing and the detail, you know, was there. So I tried not to, you know, it's like I went to Payless and they were $35 but just, you know, the craftsmanship wasn't there and it was worth it for me to splurge on my fabulous new pair of boots.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thanks.
I have very similar experiences. I like quality stuff and, you know, I feel like I can recognize it. And I go out of my way to get camper boots, which are, you know, a couple to $300 a pair. But what I found myself able to do sometimes is find them very slightly used on eBay. And that's actually worked out pretty well for me, but not always, you know. Yeah. So anyway, so let's jump like 30 whatever years forward. And I don't remember the first time I introduced you to the idea of selling on eBay. Do you remember?
Yeah, you came to visit, and you said that you had been looking at garage sales, which was a whole new, I'm like, really? They exist? And then all of a sudden, it was this huge world of, there's a million garage sales in Los Angeles every Saturday and Sunday. And you came and, you know, we just drove all around, just even staying local in my neighborhood. And there were so many, and it was so fun. So I was like, wow, this is a thing, and not only is it fun, but maybe I can make money doing it.
Right. We did have a blast. I remember somehow you left a garage sale with like a lucite tissue container.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was one of the first things I sold.
Yay!
Yay.
You were looking at me like I was crazy. It was like black and lucite, and you were like, I bought a tissue container.
Well, also, it was just also uncomfortable. The woman wanted more money, and I was watching you interact with them. You're like, I'll give you $2 for it. And I'm like, really? I'm like, maybe we should give more. You're like, shh.
So has that changed for you? I know I think you still go to garage sales. Have you gotten better at negotiating?
You know what? I haven't. I really haven't. It changed. So what I found in Los Angeles, which I think is different than what you found where you live, is that, I can't buy things for a few dollars. The prices are very high. People are very sophisticated. There's a lot of people that buy and sell. They go to the garage sales and then sell on eBay. And everyone's walking around with their Terapeak and their handheld. It's like a zoo.
Wow.
So I found that I couldn't really keep up with that. So the only time I'll go to a garage sale now is if I'm looking really for myself, which you can still find good deals. But to resell, I'm finding that it takes a really big effort. There are those sales that work, and I found some really cool things. But on the whole, I think that people are really sophisticated, and they've already looked up what things are worth and things are priced, and they won't budge. And I've actually been thrown out of a few.
For what?
They'll say, for trying to bargain. They get annoyed. Like, look, we both know what this is worth, and stop hassling me. And if you're going to do that, you need to leave.
Wow. Oh my God. I agree.
Yes.
When I go to LA, I think of it. I even tell Mikey, like when I go to visit you, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go clothing shopping for the season. And it's at yard sales because your culture there is so, consumer oriented. It's got so many brands, high end clothes. And I could just go scoop up like clothes for the year out of people's waste. And I'm thrilled.
Yeah. Yeah, like I found some amazing things, in garage sales that either I wear or I give to my kids. So like for Alex, I found there was this older gentleman. He was in like World War II or something. They were cleaning out his apartment, and he was the same size as Alex. And he had the most beautiful coats. And they were just trying to get rid of everything. And they were designer coats, and he loves them. Or like sports jackets, these kind of things. So we kept those.
Nice.
But like as far as resale goes, I'm finding that what I do now is just basically clean out my own house. So if something doesn't fit me anymore or I can't stand the clutter, that's the stuff I'm selling on eBay.
Interesting. I was also thinking, LA is so big that if you were out chasing garage sales, it would be like daunting.
Yeah, I mean, somebody could do it. Like I can't. It's not my personality. I think it would require so much of an effort. So I think somebody could, there's definitely money to be made, but it was just extremely overwhelming. And then that experience of people already knowing the prices and the haggling, that it just got really unpleasant. Yeah.
And it's funny.
Especially on the estate sale.
Yeah, I think especially those, because the people running it really do know. And really, I'm always looking for the one you described, like an old man died and they're selling off his stuff and no one really knows or cares.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
If grandma has moved out, those are the ones that I'll go to. Those are the best ones because they're interesting, because they're old.
Yeah.
Old pieces that you can't find in Target.
Right. Yeah. Some people watch the obituaries.
I believe it. It's so funny.
Mikey and I have talked about it, but we're like, nah, I can't go there. But I do always look for the sale where grandma died because it's the best.
Yeah, if I see one of those, I'll go. Because, it's just too interesting. Not even just that you think you're going to make money, but sometimes you get somebody who really talk to you, and explain where these things came from and this person traveled, and it's just so interesting.
Yeah, like the old man.
Yeah. I mean, actually, that guy, I think with that one, the guy was actually wandering in and out, and he was like, I got that jacket, in Korea, wherever. He was just like, wanting to talk about all his, he was selling his trophies and his medals and, all kinds of stuff.
Wow. I just got back from California, and I shipped home a couple of boxes of stuff. But I'm always amazed, because I'm traveling a lot lately, at just how much you learn about a culture through the things they used to have and they're getting rid of.
Right.
Every place has different weird stuff, but it's the stories.
Right. I mean, LA does have great designer goods, and they do have high-quality items. It's just as far as, like, what you were doing with going to garage sale and reselling, I think it's a hard market to do that in because the prices are just so high and nobody's willing to negotiate.
Wow.
That's what I've found, as I've been doing it more.
Yeah. I'm still wearing my $2 UGG boots that I got visiting you in LA at a yard sale.
Well, you also need that, like, sixth sense, which I think you have. You know, like some people can go through a pile of what looks like junk and pull out the one amazing thing. Like, I guess I just don't have the patience.
Well, my mom also collected antiques my whole life, so she gave me a window into that. And I think it helps me spot things a little bit. But I'm also curious because when I introduced you to eBay, you were already selling on Etsy.
Right.
I'm curious to know about how long you've been selling on Etsy and what kinds of things you sell there versus eBay and how that is for you.
Well, Etsy is handmade. I mean, there are people that sell vintage items on Etsy as well, but I sell handmade. I make jewelry. But it's much harder, actually, to sell on Etsy than eBay, just because of the sheer volume of people. Yeah, and I've been doing Etsy longer, but I've sold more things on eBay.
Yeah.
So Etsy's more, I guess, for a hobby, you know.
I hear that a lot from makers, that it takes years to maybe get some repeat customers, and that was the only reliable income they can get off Etsy was if they got repeat customers, like steady.
There's actually a lot of people that sell vintage clothing on Etsy now. I'm like seeing that more and more. Yeah, I guess I like to see it and feel it. Like if you're at a garage sale, I like to look at it and try it on. So I wouldn't, I guess I would hesitate to buy it that way.
So would I. And I actually don't sell vintage goods on Etsy because, as you said, the volume, I just feel like it's lost. Yeah. eBay has the right interface for it. Etsy is more like a market.
And it's easier to search on eBay. It's easier to search on eBay. Like, I'm looking for something really specific. eBay's really good about it. You know, you punch in the code of like Alex wore out his shoes. He had like a designer shoe, and he wore it so that the sole fell off. And they don't sell it anymore. So I went on eBay and I punched in like the code on the bottom of the shoe, and there it was.
Wow.
So it was just, and I had it within like a few days. That definitely wouldn't happen on Etsy.
Yeah. Yeah, I just found on eBay like a toothpaste that you're only supposed to be able to get if you're a dentist. And it's repairs enamel and does all these things. And I was just able to buy it from Korea on eBay in like 1 second.
Yeah.
So today you were saying you're just selling stuff from your house. So I'm curious what kind of stuff that winds up being. Is it, clothing or goods? And what do you have luck with? And what's been your experience?
Anything with a designer label. Like, so I actually sold something last night. It was a dress that I bought at Anthropologie. And I wore it once. It just doesn't fit me right.
Right.
So I listed it, and people search Anthropologie. I found that if I have a really pretty dress but it doesn't have a label, it won't sell. So yeah, anything I have that it doesn't fit right, or I just, the kids outgrew it, I'll list it. So yeah, a lot of clothes. I was cleaning out Alex's drawers, and like he outgrew his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I sold those. But once again, it's like a collector's item or something with a label. I think if it's just toys or something like that, or that won't sell.
I agree, by the way. Everything that's Anthropologie, I also have a love for it, and everything sells, and brandless clothes are very hard to sell unless they're extraordinarily unusual or have like lamb's wool in it or something weird,
Right.
So do you consider this like, pocket change, in terms of income?
It's more like I don't feel as bad or guilty about the loss. It's not really income. So if I buy a dress, I'm kind of thinking, all right, if I don't wear it, I'll sell it. So I'm not making back the money, and I'm not making money, but I'm kind of reducing my loss. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Even with textbooks, so the kids have a buyback at school, and I must have spent like $100 on a textbook, and they were going to give me $5 for it. So I was like, I'm not going to do that, and I listed the textbook. Every single textbook sold for like $40 or $50 on eBay. So that was worthwhile. But once again, I didn't really make money. I just reduced my loss.
That really is worthwhile on the books. I mean, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, the textbooks will sell very quickly. That's what I found. Almost all their textbooks have sold.
You're a parent. You have 2 young kids. One just went to college and one in high school.
Yeah, not so young anymore.
Yeah, that's true. So what is their perspective of it like? Because what is their culture doing with eBay? Do you ever talk to them about it?
I don't really think they're so aware. Like Alex is definitely, my son in high school is definitely not even aware that it exists. Morgan not for purchasing, but for selling. Kind of the same thing. Like she'll want to go shopping and she'll have guilt that she wants to go shop. So she'll go through her closet and think, what can we sell? First, so we have the money to go shopping. That kind of an attitude. But I don't think she'll really look for a purchase on eBay. She does love thrift stores, and she likes garage sales, but once again wants to touch it and see it and try it on.
Yeah. I like this whole concept of just guilt relief. I do. And, let's face it, like we're all coming to it from different situations. Like some people are starting eBay stores because they actually want to earn a living, make an income. But then there's people more like you who have families and have a husband and, there's like a breadwinner in the house. It's not like they need the money, but as you say, it just shifts the guilt and lets you feel better about, shopping, and it's reasonable.
And also gets rid of clutter. I hate clutter.
Yeah.
So like once things start to look messy or and you're like wondering, why did I buy this thing? It just lets you get rid of it. And I like that sensation. I like that I've gotten rid of it.
I know. Me too. As things leave, I'm just like, yay.
Yeah.
Again, back to your geography. You live in LA, and I know from chatting with you over the years, like it's a funny place. It certainly has some attributes that we don't have here in New Mexico, which is, you might be friends through your kids with someone who's like a movie star and someone else who's like a director. And, some people are extraordinarily wealthy and others are totally on the other end. So I'm curious, like, is selling on eBay something you talk about with your friends, or do you keep it to yourself?
Funny question. I guess I don't talk about the selling part, but we definitely talk about garage sales and thrift stores because there's so many great finds. Like we were talking about quality goods. You can find designer quality goods just because somebody's cleaning out their closet. So that's not something to be ashamed of. I think a lot of people do it and then they feel very proud when they find something. It's like treasure hunting.
It's funny.
And if you're good at it, it's almost like bragging rights. Like, look what I found, this Gucci bag. It's so fabulous. And I paid, and like people will tell you what they paid for.
That's really funny. Mikey and I this year picked up in New Mexico, in like total impoverished New Mexico, picked up a brand new in-box Louis Vuitton wallet. I saw that listed in your store. We sold it $13.50.
That's amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Amazing. Yeah.
So on that note, just to near the close of our chat, do you have any like success things? Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. What were the big ones for you?
I did it first. It was almost like beginner's luck, I think, when I first started. And I was thinking like, oh, I could do this to make money and not just what it turned into. But one of my first garage sales was I was in someone's apartment. It was in a nice area, but nothing amazing. And they were selling a pair of glasses that folded in a really unusual way. And I was like, oh, those are cool. And they were $1. So I'm like, yeah, so I bought them. And I got home and they were Italian designer glasses that were hard to come by. And I sold them for $400.
Woo.
So yeah, that was so exciting. That was amazing.
I think I remember that.
But that was not the norm, and I guess that was one of my first ones that I did. So I was thinking, wow, this is so easy.
Right.
But, it's really not that easy. I think you really need to be very determined and go to a lot of sales and.
For sure you do.
Take risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, we're right now settling in at just this period of time in my life, because of travel and stuff on maybe 10 hours a week. And I think we have over 1,000 things listed, so that helps. But and it's, this is considered Christmas buying season, but, we're making like a few $100s a week with just this tiny effort. But again, I think we have that volume. Like,
actually, now that you mention it's close to Christmas, maybe I'll start up again.
You're so easily influenced.
It's true. Yeah, maybe that's true. Because there are like ebbs and flows in the cycle of people's buying.
Yeah.
So that's true. People try to get a deal or look something up.
And it's true. September to actually the end of January is supposedly Christmas buying season. And the reason it extends into January is a lot of people get cash for Christmas. And they spend it in January, or they return what they didn't want and get what they did want. But there's cash flow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and actually, some eBay people we know say all the money they make on eBay pretty much is from September to January, and then the rest is like...
All right, I'm inspired. I'm going to go.
Well, thanks, Jodi. So I was going to ask you about the future, but it sounds like the future is you're about to try to catch the buying season.
Yeah, I think the immediate future, that's probably what I'll do. But yeah, I'm not sure where the future is with that. I have a feeling it's just going to be what I've been doing, which is cleaning out my own house, cleaning out my closet, or just, recycling what I made a mistake with. It's like I like to know that that's available to me, so I don't feel too bad about making a mistake. Did I really need those boots? Maybe I didn't.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Believe me, I make the same mistakes all the time. I also like right now, I just cleaned out my closet because I just got back from San Francisco and I went to 3 clothing swaps. So I'm like hemorrhaging. I just took some really ratty anthropology stuff and I'm going to put it up for $10, but I'm going to sell it instead of dump it.
Well, you're also good with selling and fixing things. Because sometimes you can buy something that has a hole in it or whatever, and I'm not handy. I can't sell, so then I'll turn that around. I'll either give it away to charity or sell it if you can. But I guess if you buy that, you can always fix it.
Yeah, I don't fix stuff I buy ever. Nah, I don't even clean it. I don't. I always write in my ads. I prefer not to clean vintage items in case I might damage it. I leave that to the customer.
I mean, that is true. You could ruin it.
Yeah. And it's an easy out, Okay, here's your dirty item.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Jodi. Do you...
yeah, it's good talking.
Yeah. Do you have any other things you want to share that you think might be relevant now that you know that I have this podcast?
No, but I love the podcast.
You do?
I have to go watch all your other episodes now. Yeah, I only listened to one before, but I didn't know you had it.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be visiting you in LA soon to go to yard sales and see.
I know, I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
And then it's right in the season. Maybe people will be cleaning out their stuff for Christmas.
There you go, making room for the new.
I'm feeling very good about this all of a sudden.
Me too. Well, I miss you, Jodi, and I'm psyched to be coming to see you soon. And thanks for being on eBay Scavengers. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.